you do that? How did you do that?
Welcome back everyone to another episode of All About Mechanics. Today I'm going to be showing you the dungeon City of Ash 1. It's going to be on Vet. I'm going to make sure we show you the hard mode. I'm going to show you all the mechanics of all the bosses and explain how to defeat them. Also, we're going to use the same setup as before, of course. One tank, one healer, one stamina DPS, and one magicka DPS. It's a very balanced setup. Can't really go wrong with it. If you want to use other stuff, that's fine, but this is as basic as it gets, so I'm going to explain how everything works. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is City of Ash 1. You unlock at level 20, I believe, on normal, so you get it quite early on in the game, but on Vet, obviously, you need to be 50 and above. Now, the main threat in this dungeon are the small things. So, Scamps, Banekins, and Flame Atronachs, which is what you're greeted with when you first come in. So, the early stage of the dungeon, you see the nasty stuff. Scamps need to be interrupted, otherwise they will emit a rather nasty straight line of flame across the floor at your group, and it really, really hurts, so make sure they don't do that. The Banekins explode with shock damage, so make sure you either stay away from them or interrupt them before that happens, but be careful nonetheless. And the Flame Atronachs, you can chain them in. They're not immune to CC or anything like that. They do basic kind of fireball attacks, but they do have one nasty one that can be interrupted, so be really careful and keep your eye out for those. Most things in here actually have relatively low health, so that's why people tend to steam through this quite quickly. But the problem isn't how much health they have, it's how much they take off of you. They're quite nasty, so be really, really careful. You can go left or right here as you come down the ramp, but we usually go left first, just through force of habit. You have to go both directions anyway, so it's up to you which way you go. But kill all these first of all, get the scamps out of the way, make sure your tank pulls them in to the center as soon as possible, and everybody should kind of get in to damage them, but kind of be mindful of your distance, just in case one of them explodes. As you go through this first section, you'll start meeting humanoid types with archers and healers and the usual suspects, so make sure that your tank is on point and make sure he pulls them in as soon as possible and kind of pins them on the spot. Melees obviously grab hold of those first, but you need to kind of pull in the ranged ones as soon as you can to make sure that they're not a threat from range, and your DPS should keep an eye on interrupts all the time. You don't want any arrow sprays, loose fireballs, or any healers kind of keeping up the stronger ones. So pay close attention to what they're doing. Essentially though, the main goal of this is to bunch them up as much as possible and then kill them all together with as much AoE as you can. Again, lots of Banekins, watch out they explode. If you're at fairly high CPs and you have decent resists, they shouldn't cause you too much of a problem. But if not, you are going to have to move away. One more thing to note as well, the Flame Atronachs do explode when they die. So stay out of that nasty mess, because that will kill you. These guys here, pull them all into the middle. You have a Flame Atronach on either side, left and right. The tank should be able to pull them into the center, and you should be able to burn them down. Now you've got one dude up on the steps with a totem. That will kind of be a bit of an annoyance. It can heal and all that kind of stuff. So you can either kill the totem, which will take 1 damage per hit, or you can just kill the guy and the totem will disappear anyway. Now this first boss hits like a steam train if you're really unlucky, so let your tank pull him out into the center so you're not kind of clustered up inside that little fortified area there. His basic attacks hit quite hard. For a tank it's not too much to deal with, but on a DPS you don't want to get hit by it, so stay away from his face as much as possible. He has a fairly sizable heavy attack which you don't want to get caught by, so make sure your tank is taunting and blocking at that point. This little fit he has here, you can see that there's loads of fireballs flying across the room and they all make a small area of effect burst on the ground. Stay out of those. And this final hit, this big slam, again, stay out of that. You can see that we're all behind the boss. The tank's positioned in one direction, so he shouldn't be much of a problem. But if you let him loose and everyone starts running around the room, it's a mess. So hold him still, kill him, and then move on. Again, the AoEs that land hit really, really hard, so stay out of them. I know there's lots of people screaming vampire. It doesn't make a difference. Whether you're a vampire or not, that will kill you. We're actually all stage 4 vampires. Even though there's fire in here, it's fine. You just have to understand how to avoid certain dangerous effects, shall we say. Anyway, once this side is done, which it is, we now go over to the opposite side. If you noticed, when we came down the ramp, there was a left and right direction. We're now going to go right. Now, there's a boss up here which is quite sneaky. He's a Nightblade. He hits very, very hard, and he does have a lot of fire damage, but I'm going to show you a trick to avoid the fire damage that he throws out in 2 different tactics. There's actually 2 bosses up here, but that is the one I'm specifically going to focus on. They're quite nasty. These here plenty of pulls. As before, make sure you bring everything into the middle. Make sure you interrupt those scamps and burn them down as fast as possible. Above all, if you've got multiple enemies, maybe there's some archers, maybe there's some healers, maybe some melee guys, and a couple of scamps, the first thing you want to kill every single time is those scamps. They are awful. They hit really, really hard. On the explosion, you'll also note that the flame arrows do sometimes put a ground AoE down, so be very careful of that. Just get out of it. You don't have to stand in it and block it or any of that kind of stuff. Just move away from it. It's very, very obviously placed, so you've got plenty of time. I'll also note, by the way, if you do have your combat colors set to red, it's quite difficult in here. So you might want to go into your gameplay options and alter that color so you can see more. You'll notice mine are blue. They don't have to be blue. That's just easier for me to see. This pull, just like every other, interrupt the healers, interrupt the range, put everything into the center, and burn them down as quick as possible. Mind the Atronach when he blows up. He always explodes when he dies. This next pull is relatively simple as long as your tank goes first. Everything is kind of already where you want it. Except for that archer on the right, watch him. He does do a runner sometimes. So kind of get him down quite quickly or pull him in and hold him still. So you notice he just run off. Sometimes you can't get through the door on the last boss. It's because he's still alive. He's sneaky. This next pull is insane, so be very, very careful. There's loads of scamps, loads of Banekins, and a Flame Atronach. You've got to make sure your tank is on point here and pulling everything in as soon as possible. Watch your feet. There's lots of damage coming in. And interrupt those scamps. You do not want them throwing fire across the ground. Now the Flame Atronach over there, you can see that he's firing onto the floor. There is an effect that he throws out, which basically looks like that, like the burst AoE from when he dies, except it carries a dot with it, so don't stand in it. Now this little mini boss here, the Banekin handler, is relatively simple. The Banekins do explode, so let the tank go first. Let him try and pin them down. You'll notice he immobilizes them straight away. Then focus the boss. He does a spin that you need to stay out of. He does a heavy attack that you need to block. If you're a DPS, you're dead. If you're a tank, you'll probably survive. It's not that hard on a tank. And then he'll respawn Banekins again. So just keep on top of those. Keep them still. Do not sprint around the room. As you saw, the tank got knocked over then by a heavy attack. If you block it, you'll stand still. If you don't, you'll get knocked over. But the tank is beefy as hell, so it won't kill him. A DPS, however, different story. Now this boss up here is a bit of a pain. If he heavy attacks you, you must block. If he teleport strikes, you must block, which is he'll disappear and hit someone in the back if they're too far away. And one more mechanic is every time he does a heavy attack, and sometimes he does one after this as well, he throws down a circle of fire. Now there's two different types to this. One is really clustered up, in which case you've got to stay out of it. The other is if you get caught short and he does this, where there's a gap in the middle, you can stand in the center and take no damage. You can see I'm just on plain ground. I'm not in the AoE. Now, he's going to throw out another heavy attack in a moment, and he'll do another one straight after, except there's no gap this time, so stay out of it. Very, very simple. Just gauge the fight as you see it kind of unfolding. If there's a gap in the middle, stand in. If there isn't, stand out. Depends on where you're positioned, however. But the tank must hold that boss still and must always block that heavy attack, otherwise you are going flying. And he has a nasty habit of spinning and putting the fire on you while you're on the ground. Fall off to the right here so then you don't die. If you jump straight off the end, you'll kill yourself. There's a couple ways down, but that one's quite easy. Now, when we started in the beginning, we went left, then we went right. Now we're going back to the center again. So we're going to go forwards. Now this is the kind of the home stretch, if you like. There's a mini boss in between, and then there's another one at the top of the stairs. But first of all, we're going to have a rather nasty ad pull with lots and lots of scamps. Plus some humanoids as well. But there's loads of scamps on the ground. You can see them all running in, Banekins and everything. Be careful, they do explode. They didn't then, we got lucky. Then this pull with the boss is also going to have some scamps and Banekins as well. Again, they can nuke you straight away, so be very, very careful where you place your feet. Interrupt the scamps if you do anything stupid. Get your tank to hold everything together and burn them down as fast as you can. Don't stand too close. Now this boss is almost the same as the rest of the Flame Atronachs in the dungeon, but with one extra mechanic. Now he's going to throw light attacks at the tank all the time, maybe a couple heavy attacks here and there, but above all he puts a nasty flame dot on the ground in a burst effect. There you go, you see it grows and it explodes and then fire comes out like a volcano. All you have to do is step out of it. Don't dance around the room, don't start doing wicked spins on your head. It's not going to help. Just move back and move back in and keep doing that. Burn the boss, move back in. Very, very simple. Your tank should be holding the boss still at all times anyway, so you should be fine. Now when it dies, remember what an Atronach does? It explodes. So if you're going to loot stuff, let it blow up first and get out of it. That will kill you. If you are standing in that explosion at the end and you're on a DPS or a healer, you're dead. Tank will be fine, but other people are not. Another standard pull here. Get your tank to grab everything in the middle. Make sure you chain in that Atronach as soon as possible up on the right. And then burn everything in the middle. Again, they are a problem. Watch out when they die, they explode. That was nasty. I got away with that one. Make sure you interrupt these if you need to. Any scamps doing anything stupid, make sure you bash them. There's one at the back there. You can see the fire just went straight across the floor. We got lucky. If that is to catch a DPS, if you don't have very high resist, for example, if you have low CPs, you'll get one shot by it. Now this boss is very, very fast and simple, but it can get messy. First, you must block her heavy attack if you're the tank, otherwise you're dead. Secondly, stay out of her kind of whirlwind effect, like she spins her weapon around her head. There you go, that one there, stay out of it. And then she will split into 4. The 3 shadows of her take extra damage, and a lot more damage. So if you have a lightning staff or something like that, you can actually utilize your splash damage and kill her faster. But all you need to do is burn those down very quickly, stay out of the fire, and then get back onto her again. She'll do a heavy attack as soon as she comes out, so make sure your tank is awake. But apart from that, just rinse repeat. Stay out of the spin, block the heavy attack, kill the trash. However, if you run around the room or if you run down the stairs, she will kill you in the back of the head or reset. Don't do either one of those two. Stay still, find your spot, kill her. If you don't block as a DPS, you're pretty much dead. If you don't block as a tank, you might get away with it, but she's going to run after you land, so she's going to leave the dots on the ground, which makes it a bit difficult. Now this final boss actually can wipe quite a few, let's say, less experienced groups, because there is a mechanic in here that a lot of people don't spot. We're going to hit hard mode, of course, so we'll have more health, and I think more Atronachs come out at the end. There's no need not to do hard mode, to be honest. It's very, very similar either way, it's a bit stronger. Now, he will fire an arrow into the air occasionally, putting an AoE on the ground. Now, when this lands, this will actually split into 4 different directions, a nasty flame line across the floor, so make sure you stay between those gaps. Now, when he says rise minion, he will be spawning a flame Atronach, which will just go and sit wherever it wants to sit, and it will throw fireballs at the group. You got 2 options. You can either live through it, where your tank kind of keeps hold of the boss, keeps a range taunt on those, and your healer keeps you up, which is risky, or failing that, you can send one of your DPS to go kill it. I would favor the second option. Occasionally, he will teleport to another location in the arena, or in the room, whichever you want to call it, and you need to kind of get to him and follow him and start burning him down again. He will do this all the way through the fight. One other very important thing to notice is that he will aim at one of the DPS. You'll notice that we're not all clustered up. We've got our own space. That is for a reason. Although he's taunted, he will aim a fire shot at whoever he wants. And when he does that, you need to get rid of it. Now, of course, if you've got very strong healers, you can live through it, but that's a little risky. What you need to do is, if you get shot yourself, jump in the water and it will extinguish the dot. So you'll see in a moment that Christina actually gets shot with the arrow. There she goes. Boom, shot into the water. AoE's gone, come back out again. It's as simple as that. If you get shot, don't keep the dot on you. It really, really hurts. And it's a pain and a strain on the healer. So just jump in the water and get rid of it. You'll hear like a fizzing sound as if fire has just gone out, and that's exactly what it's just done. Now, under 20%, he will spawn 3 Atronachs, which is really, really nasty. So you have to be very, very careful. You can either kill them all, which is probably the safest option, or you can burn him down if you've got enough DPS to do so. But be very, very careful, because at this phase you've got lots of AoE coming in, you've got lots of occasional shots coming in from him where he keeps setting people on fire. As you see, Bob just got it, jumps in the water and it's all gone. And you've also got the Atronachs kind of firing at you left, right and centre. So your tank should be able to taunt those from range just to keep the flak off the group. So, hopefully that helped. Hopefully that wasn't too boring. You now kind of better understand that particular dungeon and its boss mechanics. There is a lot going on in the last boss. You can burn through it if you've got enough DPS, but it helps to understand exactly what's going on, just in case you don't. There is going to be another video for version 1 of the dungeons, which is Crypt of Hearts 1. That's coming next, and after that we're going to go into the neutral ones. So we're talking Volenfell, Direfrost, Arxcrinium, all those types of dungeons before we start hitting version 2 and DLCs. So, first of all, if you're not subscribing, please do hit that button. It is free. Throw in a like if you like the video as well. Secondly, of course, if you're not supporting outside of YouTube but you would like to, there are some links in the description for Patreon, for Facebook, for Twitter, and of course the website xynodegaming.com. Once again, thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.